Hey, Tburrier from Tburrier.com. So, do you struggle with consistency? Consistency is one of the keys to developing success in any area of life. There is just very little in the world that will happen based on one explosive effort, right? It's just, we don't develop skills that way. We don't reap long term benefits that way. And so, if you want to be successful, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be successful in your fitness regimen, it could be successful in your home business, it could be successful in your traditional business. It doesn't matter what it is. You have to develop consistency, and consistency is really a discipline. That's essentially what it is. And the reason that consistency is so powerful, right, is that there's a learning curve to everything, right? You don't just naturally pick something up and become great at it, right? The only way you can become good at something is to have been bad at it. And the only way to be bad at it is to be awful at it, right? But then correspondingly, the only way you can become great at something is if you've become good at it and you continue to hone and develop that. And so when you're taking consistent action in an area that matters in your business, what happens is, certainly, let's say it's sales, or let's say it's in making contacts for a home business, right? These are pretty common areas where people seek this type of information and struggle with consistency. So you want to think about how that process plays out. It's the compounding effect. So when I was young, I loved to play basketball. It was my favorite sport to play, and I became a very good shooter. And how that happened was I shot every day, right? So I would go out and shoot the basketball for an hour or two every day. And by doing that, I created this compounding effect in my learning. If I had, let's say, for example, you want to become good at shooting foul shots. If you shoot 100 foul shots on a Saturday, that's great. Especially by the time you're getting to your 40th or 50th or 60th shot, you're starting to develop some rhythm and your mechanics are getting locked in a little bit. But if you don't pick up the basketball again for an entire week, when you start again the next Saturday to shoot your 100 shots, you're not going to be very far along in the learning curve, right? Because you will have gone backwards because you hadn't honed that skill. Whereas if you were to take that same 100 shots and spread it out over a week and shoot 15 shots a day, you would be much more effective within a week than the person who shot 100 shots one day and didn't shoot again for 7 days. And that is the same nature of consistency, is that what happens is you compound the learning curve. So you learn a little, and then the next day you build upon that. And that's how it works in your business. So in business, that building any kind of business, I'm not talking about if you're in a business where you're not accountable for a result. And obviously everybody's accountable for some sort of result, but I'm talking about not accountable for a result that leads to productivity, that leads to sales or something like that. Any business that you're responsible for doing that, you got to do a couple things every day. One, you got to make contacts and talk to people about your business every day, right? You got to talk to potential customers, you got to talk to current customers, right? You got to do that every day. And the other thing you've got to do is feed yourself every day. You've got to work on your personal development, you've got to work on your training, you've got to make yourself better. You got to compound those things. And so how do you develop that, right? Now, I was a very undisciplined person for a long time. Very, very undisciplined person. And my results in life were corresponding. But that changed when I became disciplined. And I started with the discipline of planning. That was the first thing I did. And then the next thing I disciplined was exercise. And those couple of things, what did they do? They built my discipline muscles. They built my commitment muscles. And so here's how you do it. It's so simple, but commit to something for 30 days. And make it a small discipline. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be something pretty simple, but commit to it 30 days. Let's say you're building a business. Let's say you commit to talking to 3 new people every day for 30 days. What will happen, right, is that this small commitment that doesn't really require a lot, maybe it's 20 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever it is, that small discipline becomes a habit. And as it becomes a habit, and of course, through this 30 days, you're getting some measure of result, you begin to see results. And so you create the discipline, and then that leads to a habit, and then you will see the results, because that's how your life is, right? Effectively, everything in your life right now, your health, your relationships, the state of whatever venture you're involved in, is a product of your habits in the last 5 to 10 years. Everything. And so if you just ingrain that in your mind, that the future is going to be a product of today's habits, it helps you to begin to cultivate the small disciplines that create the habits for success. So whatever the small disciplines are, the small steps that compound to create success in whatever you're doing, make it a habit for 30 days. Work at it for 30 days, create the discipline, and get started. And it will make a huge, huge difference, compoundingly going forward in your skills and in your results. I hope that was helpful for you. If you have a question, feel free to email me below. My email is there. Or if you need some additional training, head over to my blog site at Tburrier.com and check out my training over there. Thanks for stopping by.